It's time we mentioned Vinicius and Mbappe because it's time for our top 10 left wings list.
Yep, good lead onto it.
There you go. I'll tell you what, this is so much better than last week's list.
Yeah, right wingers was...
It might have been most debate, but there's some big time players in this side, I feel like.
Yeah.
So
I think it'll be
wings.
pretty much the same as like last week, and same names, just different maybe positions.
A few different position adjustments, but other than that, I think we should be the same.
Yep.
Do you want to get kicked off with your number 10?
Number 10. This was a bit of a sort of head scratcher, this one. I had like Garnacho in and around the place. I did, yeah. I reckon like Rashford, Grealish were kind of in the same category. We're like at their best probably in, but just so inconsistent, right? So I went with Kingsley Coman.
You got one of the boys in.
I've got him in.
Yeah.
Now, like, if you look at his numbers, like, he's probably not worthy of it. But I just think when he plays on the left, Bayern looks so much more balanced as a team because then you can allow Musiala to play inside and stuff like that. And, you know, it's just his injuries, again, are a big concern. But he's a serial winner. Like, he's literally... I think this might be the first season where... He hasn't won anything in his career. Like, he hasn't won a league title in his career, and he's like 27.
Harry Kane.
So it's just mental, and he's played a part in all those teams. So again, basically, it's like his stats aren't great, but I just think for that Bayern side, he just helps with the balance, and he's still a very good player. He's probably one of the best dribblers in the world, I think, when he's fully fit and playing. The problem is, it's just that's not a hell of a lot.
Games I feel that.
Yeah.
All right, in my 10, I had to get someone different, and you know how it is.
Yeah.
I got Savio's number 10.
Nice, yeah.
Someone that, I think will be massive for Manchester City next season because I think it looks like Grealish is gone. From the sounds of it, they're shopping him, I guess is the best way to say it. They're going to shop around
barely
for
plays
him.
anyway. So.
Doesn't play. Doku's been a great find for them, and Savio's in the same mould as Doku. And I think Savio might be a bit more complete than Doku.
I agree.
He's played in a system that replicates Manchester City a lot in terms of... We talk about Michelle, how that system, you can play left wing, but you have to be centre mid and left back many times. Like, it's going to help coming across to Man City where you've got centre backs jumping into midfield and midfielders jumping out wide. You know, De Bruyne often drifts out to the left as like almost a left winger. So it'll be good to adjust to that. I think he's so technically skilled, and over the last few games where Girona have struggled, it's been Savio who saved the day. And it's been him
100%.
Head down dribbling, working 1-2s. And I think we're seeing Man City... end of the season just start to hold up a little bit more than what we're used to. We normally see them just fly through. I think a fresh face like Savio next year could keep that energy and keep that production high because right now it's just like Grealish, everyone's understand how he plays his game. Doku's not consistent enough. I think Savio, unfortunately as it is, I think will be the answer to Man City in terms of a consistent performer that's technical but also has that flair. So he's number 10 100%. For me.
Well said. 9, I've got Nico Williams.
Yeah, Nico, yeah.
9, yeah. Breakout season, for sure, 100%. Scores goals, but he's unbelievable at setting them up.
Yeah,
his assist numbers are just ridiculous, and even some of the chances that he sets up which don't come into goals is just ridiculous. Carries the ball so well, dribbles the ball so well, and you know, if he's not scoring them himself, he's setting them up. Like you said, you know, he's unreal at that. So again, he's probably still a bit raw in terms of his talent, like he's just come on.
Yeah.
But I mean, we saw it for the national team for Spain. Like for Brazil, he was ridiculous running it at that back four, and you know, he's been a key part of what Bilbao have done. They've got a big chance of getting a trophy.
Yep.
Top 4 push. So I think if they're going to get that, I think he's going to have to be. He will be the one that's going to be, you know, one of their best players. So
difference maker.
Yeah, 100%.
I've got him, but not quite yet. I've got Jeremy Doku at 9.
Ooh, okay.
Bit low, but I think just because of form, this 4 weeks ago, I might have had him even higher, but I think the form just dropped off a little bit, and I have a personal favourite with someone else, so I've got them a little bit higher.
Yeah.
But still, he's shocked me in terms of this is more of that sort of Sane mould that I thought Pep didn't want. I think that's why I thought Sane got sold, but obviously I think Pep knew what we're seeing now. He's not consistent enough, but Doku, like he burst in the same with that Euros where he was young and ridiculous for Belgium, continued on here and coming to Man City. I thought, has he got what it means to be a Man City winger? Someone that can work without the ball many times or work in those little triangles, allow others to work out wide, but he facilitates so well. And at his best, sort of that midpoint of the season, he was unstoppable. He was just with his head down and cannot be stopped at times. So
he just missed out on one, to be fair.
I think his form in the just few weeks, it makes sense why you haven't got him in because he's been missing on the bench or just not involved recently. But I think at his best and what we saw mid-season,
100%.
is why I've got him on my list at number 9.
I think I'm just stuck on the game against Arsenal. He was so bad when he came on. But you're right, he was
low block FC from Arsenal.
But yeah, during the year he was outstanding, wasn't he? So 8, I've got Savio.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Everything you said is just, I think he's second in the league for assists.
Something like that.
And I think he's in the top 3 in of successful dribbles in the league as well, which just goes to show his talent at just 19 years old. His crossing from the left, which is some of his balls to Dovbyk have been ridiculous. And again, it's just Man City have got another gem on their hands, and it's annoying, but it's so smart from them. It's honestly not fair, and it's scary what he can become in the next couple of years under a manager like Pep with Grealish and Doku, and he's going to have to fight for his place for sure. I don't think he'll come in and maybe start straight away necessarily, but I think once he hits the ground running, he's going to be an absolute weapon. He's going to be incredible, and he's one of the reasons why Girona are where they are. They probably wouldn't be there without him. They'd probably be a couple of places down at least. But yeah, for a guy of his age, he's been ridiculous, and he's scored big goals, provided crucial assists, and he's a great player.
Dobby went with the player he was without Savvy this season. Alrighty, number 8, I went Nico Williams, a little bit higher. Nice. Maybe just because of what I saw for Spain, that was like...
Yeah, incredible, wasn't it?
We loved that international break last weekend because of players like Nico Williams, because we saw Endrick and we saw Manu and all this. It was just a week for young players, and I think he's really established himself as someone that deserves a Champions League play time, in one of the big clubs, I feel like, because he's got the package. And if Real Madrid haven't had 8 different wingers that could play, I think Real Madrid would be snapping him up in a heartbeat. It's just, you're right. I think he's got goals in his game, but the assist numbers have been just so much that you can't avoid that. And he's playing with his brother up top there, and it's just like, name a better link-up you could possibly have. So I think the future is so bright, because if you're a player now at this age, like facilitating the way he's facilitating, normally it's the other way around. Normally they have the goals early, they have that flair, and have to work to find that.
Yeah.
But like Savio, like Nico Williams, they already have that part of the game, just going to add goals, and that's easy. Exactly. These guys have the pace to break through and stuff like that. So I think it's going to be super exciting to watch him in 2 or 3 years' time. He's my number 8.
My number 7 is Martinelli. Maybe a little drop off this season compared to last season, but still just such a threat when he plays, especially against Liverpool. He seems to always put in his best performances against us, which is annoying. But still, I mean, for a guy so young, still he's got kind of that total package in a way. Like, he's got the pace, he's always a threat, his dribbling's brilliant. It's just going to be about consistency for him, and that comes with age and a bit more experience. Obviously playing more Champions League football, more Premier League games, but again, he's been huge for Arteta and Arsenal, and he will continue to be huge, and he probably gets overlooked and probably underappreciated and undervalued because of Saka and Rice and Saliba, but this guy's younger than some of them, and still playing at such a high level. So it's big goals. Man City one sticks out again. It's a deflection, but still came on and made a difference, and big moments for Arsenal he's produced so far. So
you make me second guess my choices, but I ended up going with Diaz 7. I love him as a performer. I love him and Jota because they just produce the somethings out of nothing. Like on the weekend, that's a prime example. No one's getting to that ball there. Yeah. It's a deflected ball just sitting there that sits there waiting to be bounced, but he gets there, gets his right foot out.
He's best at. The ones where he has to take his time, he does it. Stops up.
Sometimes I think, he could just be more clinical. He gets in those positions. That's why people liking Jota a little bit more than him and stuff. They like his clinical nature. But I think because they're not the same position, but they're playing that same sort of mould where they're going to pounce on anything. You give them any scraps, they'll be there to put it away. And this season's been so important in terms of standing up. Salah's been away for key periods. Yep. Others been injured. It feels like him and Van Dijk being the only constants in that, or maybe McAllister as well. Yep. The only real constants in that team, and that's props to him. I think if we see what we're seeing again next year, and that continued performances, I'm one of his big fans, but the numbers don't back what he does. Unfortunately, it's just the way it is. But I love what he does. But if those numbers start coming more consistently to back out all the hard work he puts on that pitch, you can have him in your top 5 quite easily. But unfortunately, just because of that, I've got him at 7.
Yeah, and I've got Diaz at 6.
Yeah.
He does everything unbelievably well. His effort, his pressure, the way he dribbles at the fullback every 2 seconds of the game. It's ridiculous, but it's just the end product, which is so frustrating at times. I mean, he does stuff against like Bournemouth at the start of the season where he flicks it up and scores a volley, and you're like, Sadio Mane.
Yeah. And
then he does stuff against Man City. He had probably like 4 or 5 huge chances, and one of those you just got to score one of them. But again, it's that end product. But what I will say is, Jurgen Klopp only plays players that he trusts and he backs. And Luis Diaz, despite Jota, we're saying Jota should play with Nunes and Salah, and maybe Gakpo should replace Diaz at one point because Diaz wasn't scoring, but Klopp always plays him. Yeah. And there's a reason for that, because besides his end product, everything is unbelievable.
Tip top.
But his end product can be very frustrating at times. Obviously, he has moments where he does score some great goals, like we saw Bournemouth and the one on the weekend in Brighton. But yeah, it's just the end product. Could be higher, but again,
to play you fall in love with it. I just feel like
you can't. You can be frustrated with him, but you can't hate him.
Yeah, it's impossible to hate this guy
because he just does so much off the ball and even on the ball.
Yes,
he's just a nightmare to defend against.
Perfect combination up top there with Salah. I feel like. I mean, I literally went the other way around. Minus 6. Just because, the numbers last season are just ridiculous. Like, last season was the one that we all feel a bit hard done on him. But when I looked back, I'm like, but he was so good last year. Like,
very good,
almost way too good last season that he was never going to live up to last season. I think when I thought about it, when I looked at the list, I'm like, no, I'm being too harsh on him because, like, as you said, he's super young. Again, he gets overshadowed by... I think overshadowed time by Trossard. I love Trossard as well. What he does, because he's again like in that DS mold, makes something out of nothing. But Martinelli is like just a proper winger that you can just trust, and he'll be there for years and years and just producing consistent performances. Maybe not consistent output, and that's where we think we'll sort of come to that consensus. Can he give that more output? Can he give that more flair at times? That's what we're looking for to take that next step. But in terms of the base prime product and what you're going to get 6, 7 out of 10 times, he's going to give you a great product. So he just sits 6 for me. Again, Diaz and Martinelli almost say 6 and 7.
You can make a case for both.
Yeah, they're both really good.
It's one position. It's pretty
at the
much
end of
the
the day,
same anyway. So.
It's tiny things we're battling
like you said last week with Saka and Foden, it's personal preference.
Exactly. Top 5 now.
Yeah, I've got Kvaratskhelia at 5.
Same here.
Yeah. I think we might have the same.
Let's hope we got the same.
So look, we've spoken about Napoli a lot. They have struggled big time this season. The drop off from last year is, it's ridiculous, isn't it? But whenever they've needed a goal, it's always if they've won a game 2-1 or 1-0. He's always scored or always been involved in big moments. Always steps up. Again, his numbers are still pretty good. Even like last year, a bit like Martinelli, his numbers were never going to be, or it'd be like insane if they were still anywhere close. But still 23, you're going to have inconsistencies at times. Yeah. But even then, his inconsistencies are like the smallest drop off. Like he still plays at such a high level. He's carried Napoli when Osimhen's been out, and even when Osimhen's been there, I think he's been a lot better. I think he's just been more, just more involved in the game. I think. He comes inside, and some of his goals unbelievable. So number 5.
Yeah, like I feel like there's a few this year in the Serie A that have struggled at that side. Like I think of Chiesa for Juventus, right? The difference between Kvaratskhelia and Chiesa is that when he's not getting the goals or assists, he still is causing havoc.
Yeah,
like it might not be the year that he's had, but if you look at last 2 months where we've really hyper focused on Napoli, you're right. Every single time they've got a result, who's in the score sheet? It's Kvaratskhelia. It's not Osimhen like last season. Like it's normally him finding Osimhen as well. So he can create something for himself. He can create for others. And he's just a complete footballer where like there's no real, obviously defensively there's still something to work on there, but in terms of the attacking out, like whole compass, he fills it all up. Yeah. But I feel like in a team that's in form, those numbers go through the roof, like last season.
Yeah, with a stable team and like just a free-flowing team, he would.
Managers.
We saw it last year when Napoli was stable and in good form. He was
that season.
He was up there with Vinicius and Mbappe.
As I'm saying, last season you could have number 1,
and
no one would have batted an eyelid because this guy was the hottest discussion over the summer. Because people are thinking like maybe the end of this season he might get a transfer. Maybe this is he's still going to be talked about in the summer. I feel like because he's been very very good this year. Number four.
I've got Liao.
Yeah, same here. We might do this. We might do a top 5 together all the way through.
Unbelievable footballer. One of the best attackers in the world, I think.
Attackers well
Again,
said,
it's just, I would probably have him higher. It's just, I can't forget the goal drought. Mm-hmm. But even then, like, I think it shows so much about him and his character and his mentality. The fact that he wasn't scoring, but it's still setting up so much. And for a team that relies on him so much to create all their chances. And on the weekend, I mean, the back heel flick to get the assist and then the finish. I swear when he went around the keeper, he was laughing. I swear if you looked at his face, he literally was laughing and like smiling. It was funny as hell. But yeah, still his numbers are good, like double-digit goals and assists, I think, this season. Still in the Europa League. And I think if he keeps playing the way he's playing, he's starting to add the goals to all of his hard work.
Yeah.
I think they're a sneaky underdog to take down a Leverkusen. We've got to get past Roma, but to take down a Leverkusen, I think, just because of him.
That's the thing. He's got a good build. He's big, good size, strong, physical, and again, the ball at his feet. Like I can always close my eye to think of it now at the San Siro, on that far side. He stands anyone up, cut in the right, bar line
1-on-1,
left,
you can't stop him.
That's gonna be a nightmare. I can just envision it now, whipping the ball in, or going bar line and whipping one across the box, hard. And when you've got the likes of Giroud and these sort of big figures in this AC team, that the Loftus Cheeks that come into the box late, you love having him on the flank that puts in pinpoint crosses. He's become a facilitator this season because of that drought. Yeah. But that, as he said, adds to his resume almost. That he's found another way to influence the game because. Without him, they like the start of the season, they were quite average.
They were,
saying AC Milan were
very
average.
Inconsistent.
Juventus were up here and they were really, really inconsistent and quite poor. But what's happened? His goal drought's finished, and all of a sudden, look at them fly. They're back in a second place. Superstar player.
Fair play to him. 3, I've got Son.
Son, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
So good. He's played a lot through the middle this year, I'd say. But still, obviously, a left winger. That's still, I think, his best position. Yeah. I mean, he's done it for years. He's just one of those that I don't really think anyone hates in a way. I think he's so well respected, and he's been a great captain of that club. And this year especially, there was so much pressure on him to score the goals. It's like, where are these goals coming from? Like, Son's going to have to score 30 for them to even be competitive. Yeah. But I think his add to his game is facilitating. He's making others better as a captain and just as a general footballer on the pitch. I mean, ever since he's come to Spurs, he's probably had, I think, maybe last year, at the start of last year, he was struggling. I think he only had like 2 goals, 3 goals maybe. Yeah. But that's it. Yeah. I mean, in his, however long he's been here for, that's it. That's all I can remember. So, scores goals, makes players better around him, role model. You can be on the pitch and I got a guy in Son there that. Yeah. And I think as well, he's probably the best left winger on this list that can use both feet. His left foot is probably just as good as his right foot. Yeah. I mean, the amount of times he's ran through 1-on-1 and he's finished it with his left over his right is ridiculous. So, he's brilliant. He's
just a magnet for chances. Yeah. Like, sometimes that's why it makes his bad spells look worse, because he gets so many. He's always in the right position, and sometimes you can't train those sort of things, right? Like, that's just the player, and that's why he's so high up. And when you think of Sonny, you think of like Kane dropping a high up the pitch and just leaving the back forward for him just to run at. Yeah. And some of those goals he scores when he gets in behind or he just sits down defenders, it's just like, this is like this, that. When I think of Tottenham, I think of those two together and just working like that. And despite Harry Kane always taking all the plaudits and always getting the golden boots, there's always Son like 2 or 3 goal contributions behind in terms of assists or goals. Like, he's always right next to him. Yeah. Like, some of the best Spurs seasons, the goal assist numbers are both 30 each for both of them. Like, it's just, he's just ridiculous, and we're only just getting to appreciate him because Harry Kane's gone now. Because, in many regards, it was, all the Tottenham bad seasons, the manager changes, it all sort of took the attention away from what Son was doing. And you're right, there was a lot of pressure. A lot of us had zero faith in Tottenham this season. We thought, mid-table. I think that's what we thought. No one was signed. There was no real big game changes, but he makes Richarlison a better player. Yeah. He's worked so well with Maddison to make that one of the best duos in the Premier League. He's played down the middle. He's played to the left. He's helped others get involved. And you're right, any captain in the Premier League going to walk behind in terms of just a person.
He's one of them. Yeah, even just like a respect thing. Forget about football. Like, he's just you want to go out and make him like proud in a way.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
he's just such a well respected figure, and like you just can't hate him.
Got to be
He's just
the
brilliant,
least hated player ever, surely.
Him and Conte,
Yeah.
for sure. So,
Just absolute champs of the game.
Yeah, brilliant.
I appreciate him even more now.
Vinny.
Yeah.
I mean,
I really want to put him one.
Would be one in, but I mean, the guy that's won is probably the best player in the world.
That's the thing, Mbappe's with us in the world, right?
Yeah, I mean, Vinny's been unbelievable this season. Some of the goals, his dribbling's just probably gone up a notch. I didn't know it could, but it has this year. It's been ridiculous. I mean, he's been on. I mean, there's not much you can say. It's just there to see. It's just Vinny. Yeah.
There's just goals. There's goals in his game when they get a striker, when they get Mbappe.
Yeah, when they get Mbappe, who's won for both of us. Yeah.
If they get him down, like people keep just not forgetting that they don't have a striker right now. They're not playing with a centre forward.
Yeah, they're a Hosteley. Don't disrespect Hosteley.
Hosteley might as well not be there. He's taking up space that Bellingham can run into. It's ridiculous.
Hosteley was at like Deportivo last year or something.
They're giving him penalties to boost his stats up.
Yeah, literally.
Bellingham's handing him pens to and no, fair play. Hosteley's been alright this season. I'll give it to him because he's an average player playing in a big team.
He
so
just
fair play
fights
to him.
and wins, doesn't he?
He fights.
Like just a bit like McTominay, just passion merchant. Just play for the badge.
Oh God. At least he can let you finish. McTominay is just a run-around merchant. But that's the point. Benzema back in his team from last year. If you add in maybe 2 years ago Benzema to this day right now in Vinicius and Rodrigo.
Oh my God.
We're talking about baby Rodrigo and Vinicius when they won that last Champions League with Benzema. Yeah. And that was Benzema at peak of his powers.
Yeah.
They're not. No one's gonna be like the Messis and Ronaldos and stuff. But we might be starting to see something similar in Vinicius and Mbappe in terms of what combination they could put together now for Real in the next 2 years. Because we're talking about guys 23, 24, 25, 26. These age brackets.
Not even in their peak yet.
Yeah. And they're going to run through the Champions League alongside a 19-year-old wonder kid that's been compared to Pele.
Yeah.
And then Rodrigo, who we think is one of the most complete players. And you've got
the midfield,
the greatest English player maybe in the future right behind. We could be seeing this, the BBC reunited again.
Yeah.
It's going to be scary because I think Vinicius is probably the best player in the world on any day. Mbappe's the best player in the world on any day.
Yeah.
These two are 1A, 1B. It's your preference. And because Mbappe, like I said last week, could be a top 10 player of all time. That's why we've got him above and he's had a bit longer. But Vinicius, what's stopping him next year with Mbappe putting up ridiculous numbers? Because you got to man up someone and they're going to pick on Mbappe first.
You'd think so.
Vinicius is going to have a free run. Can you imagine if
they're not going to, you can't double team the fullback, which is what teams do now at times. Help the fullback.
Exactly.
You can't because
you're telling me Vinicius one-on-one. You do Vinicius or Mbappe one-on-one.
So you have to leave one of them, and you'd rather leave a player that's out wide one-on-one than a player that's through the middle. So,
dare I say, as a Ronaldo fanboy lover, they're gonna one of these guys are gonna break Ronaldo's Champions League record. I think one of them will break it. Maybe both. Both and go score 20 goals in the Champions League. Again, other than for praise, I have nothing to separate these two guys.
Yeah. There's not a weakness in any of their games.
I love Vinicius. I just have a soft spot for Vinicius, but you cannot underappreciate Mbappe.
Yeah, no.
He's going to develop these two as Will Vinicius now go up and be in that conversation?
I mean, they're going to be 26 and 24. I think both of them next year. I think Mbappe's going to be 26.
That's what I'm saying. This is Mbappe entering a prime, maybe, and Vinicius.
They still got 10, 12 years between them. Because they're so good at finishing that. They'll do a bit like what Ronaldo did, where they'll convert to a striker.
Go in the middle.
Yeah, and because they're finishing, even a guy a bit lower, but like Sadio Mane did.
Yeah, just become a centre forward.
So it's scary. It's scary. How good they are and how good they're going to be together.
That's the thing. This could age like milk, but I do not see a world where that doesn't work as a combination.
It just can't flop.
I just don't think it can't not work.
Because even if they don't work well together, nothing bad or toxic, but they maybe they don't pass as much as they should.
Yeah,
they're gonna score just a ridiculous amount.
And if someone's not scoring, they'll just turn to facilitator for the other.
Yeah,
and we forget they've got Bellingham and Valverde
it can't flop. it's impossible.
I've never been so like adamant in my life. I
Yeah.
don't think it can possibly go wrong.
It doesn't feel like
Two players in similar molds, but play different positions. Maybe one game Vinicius goes down the middle. One game Mbappe
I think
goes
playing for Madrid as well. I think egos kind of go out the way, and it's a bit like right.
Well, especially if you got Carlo one more year. Carlo, you have to respect one of the greatest managers to ever grace.
Even if they get Alonso, like
you
he's
respect
one of the most
greatest
respected
player.
footballers,
exactly.
Ever. So
that's the thing. Like, especially because you've had Zidane with that great Real Madrid team. You have Ancelotti with this great up and coming team. They just know the right manager to have for these teams.
Yeah, just experience.
You can't question Ancelotti.
Yeah, no, you can't. He's one of the best managers ever.
Exactly.
He's a top 10 manager of all time.
With Mbappe, he
Maybe
controls
even,
PSG.
Yeah.
He ain't going to control Real Madrid. Florentino Perez and
exactly.
Ancelotti. You stay in your lane.
And you got guys like Kroos and hopefully Modric. I think they're both staying. I know Kroos is. Modric.
I think Modric might stay.
You still got Rudiger's at the back. Like, it's just so much experience for these guys that obviously they think in their own right they're the best in the world.
Yeah.
But like, it doesn't. That won't affect them because
they could have the best 3 players in the world next season.
They could have. Oh.
You could argue a fourth.
In the top 10 players in the world, they probably have like what
5 or 6.
Yeah, 6.
Get Adelone in there as well. The best goalkeeper in the
best
world.
Backup keeper in the world.
Best backup in the world.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. So I mean, scary times for the world.
Fullbacks and centre backs pray.
Scary times for the world. Honestly, they are gonna just.
Well.
They could batter like anyone. I'm talking like Inter.
4-0
I'm
Barcelona.
talking Barca.
Yeah.
Bayern, I'm talking Man City. They could fucking smash Man City, especially how like shaky Man City's defense look.
They're always just a step ahead, Real. It's a joke. When you think you've got them, you don't have it.
Yeah, no. When we thought they were kind of mudded a little bit, they just bounced back within a year, so it's fine.
Don't know why I want to do this one more time.
So I got 10 Kingsley Coman, 9 Nico Williams, 8 Savio, 7 Martinelli, 6 Diaz, 5 Kvaratskhelia, 4 Leao, 3 Son, 2 Vinicius, and 1 Kylian Mbappe.
I probably shouldn't say one. This is probably the same list. I got Savio 10, Doku 9, Nico Williams 8, Diaz 7, Martinelli 6, Kvaratskhelia 5, Leao 4, Son Heung-min 3, Vinicius Jr. and Mbappe.
That's the closest we've ever been.
I think so.